You're listening to the Griffin Sports Insider Podcast, live from the Hi-Ho Bar and Grill in St. Joseph, Missouri. It's our live weekly chat with Griffin coaches and student athletes. Streaming live on the Griffin Sports Network at gogriffins.com/listen, the Varsity Network app, and on the Griffin Sports Insider YouTube channel. Here's your host of the Griffin Sports Insider Podcast, Tommy Rezach.
Good afternoon, everybody, and we look out here at Hi-Ho Bar and Grill to a sea of Griffins on this Monday, August 24th, 2026. No, not officially the first day of school at Mo West, but for many of us, school has been in session for a little while as we march toward the 2026-27 school year and athletic season, and it all starts in a big way. 3 nights from now, 72 or so hours, 20th ranked Augustana in here to open the 2026 football season. Of course, head coach Tyler Fenwick and a couple of Griffin players will be along later on to talk about that. But guess what, folks? You're defending MIAA champion volleyball and women's soccer team. They kick off their seasons on the road this weekend. We'll talk about that this hour, too. Mo West also has a new head coach to talk about, softball coach Bianca Duran. The 8th head coach in history is in-house. She'll join us later in the program as well, and the one who kind of presided over that process and over the whole nest of athletics is starting his 5th full year as the director of athletics at Missouri Western State University, Mr. Andy Carter. And Andy, I don't know, time is a flat circle. The Chiefs just pulled out of town, on Thursday, Friday, and here we go. We flip to a new week, and boom, there is a Thursday opener. We haven't opened at home for football in a couple of years, so that feels good. But, man, does that accelerate the week a little bit when you got a Thursday primetime game?
Yeah, it sure does. And that lateness of the Chiefs camp and the NFL schedule and all that puts us kind of in a late process. I think it was the most overlap we've had with our fall teams reporting and the Chiefs being here for sure since I've been here, but I think maybe the earliest or the latest ever. Just the short turnaround from when they leave on Thursday to getting things cleaned up and everybody back in. I think football got everybody back in after practice on Sunday, and now back to a little more normalcy. But there's no time to rest on that. We've got game week, and it's it's a very exciting time for Griffin athletics.
I know Chiefs camp is a very busy time for a lot of people in our administration. Just briefly, your kind of takeaways from camp this year and how it went.
Yeah, very uneventful. I mean, our team knows what they're doing and hosting different things, and this is just along those lines. Our athletic administration, everybody, Teresa and Ashley and Mike and Caitlin, Curtis, new to our team, was out there every day. Ryan Menley and all of his staff being involved with the video boards and everything going on. I mean, it's a big lift, but I think it was pretty uneventful, and we got through it. You looked up and man, we were done, and that's what I hope to have happen.
Yeah, those dog days sure go by quickly. And Curtis Zond, who was out there, he's with us today, and so many administrators and employees, staff members who made it go with us here today at Hi-Ho Bar and Grill in St. Joseph. Some university news. We expect an announcement quite soon. As we know, Mo West is getting set to hire a new president. It was announced late last week by the chair of our board, Bill Grimwood, that the field has been narrowed to 2 candidates. One is in-house, someone we're familiar with, Jay Johnson, our provost and vice president for academic affairs. The other finalist is Dr. Lenny Claver, the president of North Central Missouri College, just down the road in Trenton. Obviously, this, you work very closely with this position. Pat Lilly's been serving as our interim. Just what insight are you able to provide, and how does this kind of impact your day-to-day overall?
Yeah, I think I agree with the assessment that this is a very pivotal time for our university in its history, and leadership is what we need. I have no doubt that our Board of Governors will exercise their leadership and make sure that we have the right person sitting in that seat. That is the person I report to, so I have a vested interest in that process as well, and that they understand the value of athletics and what it can do for a university. I'm very excited about what this next few years are going to bring for our athletic department and for our university, and I just have a lot of faith and trust in the people that are responsible for that.
We're speaking with our Director of Athletics, Andy Carter. And like I said, I mean, an announcement could come really any day, so just be on the lookout for that as we get ready to announce the new leader of Missouri Western State University. Want to dive into our specific programs here in a little bit, but kind of have to, as we shift to the athletics talk, I mean, you're reading it in the news every day. College athletics is rapidly changing, and yes, of course, that does impact us. In Division II, one of the big things that happened this summer was the 5-for-5, the 5-year eligibility window that Division I approved first. Division II followed thereafter in about July. So what that means is students now have 5 years to play, and that eligibility clock starts either when a student enrolls to their school or when they turn 19, whichever comes first. I think the first thing is, when Division I did this, I think, the lower divisions are like, well, shoot, what do we do? How do we keep up? I think when I talked with our football coach, Tyler Fenwick, at Media Day, that at the very least, D2 adopting the 5-year plan at least evens the playing field, gives us a little better chance at competing overall.
Yeah, I think we're in such a unique place in college athletics right now that people are afraid to move quickly. I just wish all of this had been done in time where they could have really thought out like who's included and make sure that everybody, they basically have blocked out the 2022 class from getting 5 years. They're the only ones. Previous to that, COVID provided 5, and then after that, this new rule will provide 5. And all of this, these legal things that are happening right now are happening at such a late time that we really can't help young people navigate it very well. And so I'm happy that we finally, as an NAIA baseball coach in the 80s, I was advocating that they go to 5 years because it was a marketing differential from NCAA. And higher ed just does not change fast. Everything is slow and everything's hard. But we're here. We got to figure out this 2022 thing because now it's going to courts, state courts, and all that stuff, and that nonsense that's going on. Lawyers are the ones that are really winning all of this. But at the end of the day, moving forward, we know that you're going to start having to change your vernacular. red shirt this, red shirt that. There's no more red shirts. They're either a first-year player, second-year player, third-year player, fourth-year player, fifth-year player, and the national statistics bear out that it's taking more than 4 years to graduate from your undergraduate degree, specifically with all the transferring that's happening. So I think in the long run, I hope this has a positive impact on graduation rates because ultimately that's why we're here, at least at our level, right? That's why we're here. So I think it's good. We've got to get moving on finishing up some of the other things that are dragging us behind from a policy standpoint. But I think this was a very good thing that needed to happen. I just wish it had happened a little earlier. Yeah,
that's right. And to clarify what we're talking about, the high school class of 2022, those athletes who have exhausted their 4 years under the old framework, as it stands now, those high school seniors of 2022, their eligibility is done, but there are lawsuits, as Andy mentioned, at the statewide level challenging that. One of the biggest ones is in California, and if that lawsuit goes the right way, that could grant Division II and III athletes who graduated high school in 22 a 5th year of eligibility. It's so much to keep up with, right? I mean, I've read things about how do we, are the rules in place where if a kid transfers once and then if they transfer again, then we go back to sitting out a year. I mean, is there anything else on the radar in Division II that you kind of have your eye on going on this year?
Well, coming up in January, we'll be voting on two important pieces of legislation. Number one has to do with sponsorship logos on uniforms.
Yes, jersey patches.
If that now they can't, even if they pass it under current the way it's written, you can't wear that during a postseason competition, only during the regular season. Mm-hmm. But I think that could have a positive impact on some fundraising and some revenue driving. And then the second one has to do with the potential for institutional NIL. I don't know if that's a disguise for revenue share or what, but I don't know that I'm actually in favor. I just want to be prepared in case it passes. Right. So we're already starting to have these conversations and just to be ready for whatever happens. So.
Well, there's a lot of discussion, NIL, it's such a kind of a broad issue, right? But, I mean, some of it is, the phrase collective bargaining gets thrown in there. Community collectives are definitely out there. The ways that folks can chip in, there is a lot of it, but I think the whole issue with NIL from the top on down is how do we kind of get a hold on it, get some organization and some guardrails, because it has been somewhat unorganized. It's been hard to follow, really, these last few years, all the rules, what you can and can't do.
Yeah, and I think accountability has to be in there too, so that people are within those, whatever the guardrails are, and I'm not sure that anybody knows what they are. Mm-hmm. But whatever we establish those to be, that there's accountability, that people who go beyond those rules, then there's quick accountability. Nobody in the NCAA competition wants to have somebody get an advantage and then have a staff 3 years from now pay that price. Mm. So we've got to get quicker when people don't follow the rules, that there's an immediate penalty put into place. That's not easy to do. There's a lot of moving parts, and it takes staff, and it takes time, and it takes money. So we've got to navigate some of these things so that we can make sure that everybody in the Division II understands what the rules are, what the guardrails are, what the accountabilities are, and that they follow them so that our students, they know what to expect. And from a competitive standpoint, we can all know that nobody's doing more and getting away with it. And I think that's the biggest fear, is that right now, without accountability, that there are some people that are just taking a risk because there's nobody to catch them.
Right. Yeah, so. Transparency, I think disclosure of what transactions are changing hands. That's, I think, a big thing, is just some discrepancy and just some transparency of what is actually going on when it comes to NIL at this level. And it is here. It's in the MIAA. It's in Division II, and it's here to stay. Well, let's talk about some things just within our house here. A big night on Thursday, as we talked about. Got a ranked team coming in here in Augustana, a rematch of last year's season opener, which, as we know, was a thrilling game, but a heartbreaker in Sioux Falls last August. I mean, it's a big deal, right? The MIAA across the board is playing some huge non-conference games, and this is certainly amongst them. We know how, last year ended and the pain that comes with that, but we know another thing, that this team reloaded. They added a lot of players, and Coach Fenwick will dive into it with us later in the hour. But in this offseason, in these months, in this maybe transitional period for our program, what have you observed, and what gives you optimism here in 2026?
Yeah, I think they did a really good job of a couple of things. I think they went out and they reworked the roster. The team we had last year is not this team. This is a brand new team. Mm-hmm. Now they got to come together and they got to gel. But talent-wise, I think we're as good or better than anything we've had here in some time. One of the very interesting things about competition, especially high-level competition, it doesn't matter who's on your roster. It doesn't matter what you think necessarily will happen. What matters is, do you show up and play and execute on game day, right? It's not the best team that wins. It's the team who plays the best wins. And so when you play good teams, you have to execute, and you have to make good decisions, and you have to do what you're taught to do and keep that from practice into the game. I've watched this team, throughout camp. We definitely have the tools to win football games at this level, at the high level of Division II, no question. Now we have to go do it. Yeah. Because nobody's gonna give us credit for being good enough to do it unless we do it. And so this team has the ability. I love what the coaches have done from scheme and in some cases a little more simplified so that our kids can play fast, but also maintaining that level of mystery that you have to do to disguise what you're doing. I love the energy. The energy's been great every time I've gone out to a camp practice. Energy level's been great. The attitudes have been fantastic. The work ethic has been great. So all of the variables that we look for to make a recipe here for a good season are there. Now they just have to they have to go play, and they have to play well and get the results that we want, that we deserve by how well we play. So that I'm excited. I feel like this is as strong of a team that we've had since I've been here.
Yeah, and this MIAA, I think the parity's become incredible. You got 2 teams ranked in the top 10, 4 other MIAA schools receiving votes. So if you consider that we're playing 3 ranked teams, 4 others receiving votes, that means 7 of our 11 games are against opponents that are ranked basically 35th or higher in the country out of roughly 120 D2 programs in the country. I mean, we talk about it in this league. We are the best of the best, and that has been shown year in, year out. Lots we can talk about with fall, right? We got 2 programs, volleyball, soccer, that are defending their conference championships. Jessica Phi, Jake Plocher, and some of their athletes will be here to talk about that. Sean Goswich, now our full-time, our permanent cross-country and track coach. He'll be here next week to talk about his program and that season starting, and Matt Thrasher will preview golf next week as well. But then one other thing, our newest head coach, Bianca Duran, a new head coach of softball, she'll be up here next. That hiring was announced July the 14th. I know we were all sad to see Nicole Thompson go, but like Nicole, Bianca built an impressive resume in the RMAC Conference. Head coach of Colorado State Pueblo the last 5 years, where they just won an RMAC tournament championship. So that part definitely speaks for itself. What else in the terms of Bianca stood out to you?
Yeah, fantastic. Approach to how she builds a program. Through the process, I just was more and more impressed with what she brings to the table, what her expectations are, the way she goes about holding student athletes accountable, herself accountable. I think we're at the end of the day, and I'll go back and touch on our other fall sports real quick. Sure. With Coach Phi and Jake Plocher with our soccer, is that Bianca fits the mold. Like those people were hired for a purpose and for a reason, because we saw what they could do if we supported them and gave them the resources. We've seen that with both of our basketball coaches. We've seen that with Coach Kieran, and then I believe what Tyler's doing is going to really play out here in the next year. But, she fits the mold. Bianca fits the mold of who we are and how we go about our business. There's no excuses. There's no, I couldn't. It's I believe we can, and we're going to keep pushing forward until we get where we're going. It doesn't mean that it's always a straight line. Success generally doesn't, like I can tell you in my career, it hasn't been a straight line. But you get to a place where you believe that you put the right people in the right places at the right time with the right support, that starts to unfold. In this era of transfer portal, yes, we can rebound from the losses of talent maybe that happened in the transition. But what you can't fix right away is that team culture, that team cohesiveness. That takes time, even though you may have talent for talent or even better talent. That just takes a little time. So I don't put any pressure on coaches to show up and win. They just got to win. It's like you got to show up and you got to do A first, and then you do B, and then you do C. And as your team starts to get it, the rest of that will start to take care of itself, as long as you hold true to who you are and you understand where you're going. And I think that's so important. And we've done that program after program after program, and we're seeing those successes really play out, get to the top of the conference, get to the region, get to, now we've got some teams that are ready to start taking on that national level of not just getting in a regional, let's go see if we can win a regional. And that's part of the overall process we put into place, 4 years ago, and we're really seeing it out. But I couldn't be happier with Bianca and what she brings to the table, her experiences at Division I as an assistant, her experiences at developing a program at the Division II level. She's hit the ground running. Her energy level's high, and so I'm really excited. I think she just fits right in with what we're doing in every other program.
Yeah, her roots run deep with Louisiana Tech. She was an assistant, an interim head coach there in the last 5 years. Bianca Duran, head coach of CSU Pueblo. She'll be up here next to tell us a little more about herself and her vision for that program. And you mentioned it, teams getting to regionals. Mo West coming off a year where we had 6 teams reach the NCAA tournament, a program record in the 50-plus years of our proud athletic department. Well, Andy, always good to hear from me. We'll see you down there on Thursday night. I know this is a busy time for all, but an exciting one. I think we'll have a great atmosphere out there.
Yeah, thanks for everything you do, Tommy. It really makes a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. There you go, Andy Carter to lead us off on the GSI Podcast. We continue from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. We're off and running 2026-27. It is here with the new sports season, and we're joined now by our newest head coach. Now, their season won't start for at least a little while yet, but rest assured, Bianca Duran has been hard at work since she was hired, a month and 10 days ago as the 8th head softball coach in Griffin softball history. Bianca, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Belated welcome to St. Joe and to Mo West. Podcast. I read some of your bio when we were up here with Andy, but the last 5 years as the head coach at Colorado State Pueblo, the Thunder Wolves, RMAC tournament champions this past year. You led them to their most wins in 25 years. It was only, the third NCAA tournament bid there in their program's history. So you did some nice things. So as this job came open in the summer, just take me through your process and timeline.
Yeah, for sure. I was more than proud of my team that I had this last year. In the last 5 years, I was able to coach some amazing student athletes, and it was just a great time, highlight of my coaching career, really, because it was the first time I was able to take over a program. And, when I was in Louisiana Tech, I took over a program that I had played for and a coach that I had coached under for a long time and played for. And so it was kind of my first stint of really dipping my feet into the head coaching world, and I couldn't be more proud of what those athletes did for me, but also how much they made me a better coach and prepared me for my next step, which was coming here. And I'm very excited about being here and being in a new environment. I really love all the people I've met so far. It seems like such a great place, and just that town feel is just something that I was really looking for, and having the facilities and the support staff and all of that, I just felt like it was the right move and the right next step for me, and excited to have brought some of my girls from Pueblo with me as well, and excited to have met some of the girls that are already here. They seem like just amazing young women, and couldn't be more excited.
Awesome. We have a full house. I'm going to have you scoot that mic just a tiny, just kind of bend it for me. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Want to make sure the folks get to know Bianca Duran, our eighth head softball coach in program history. And softball's kind of something we're known for, right? Our facilities at Spring Sports, the great history, our great conference, our recruiting base, and a big part of that history is Jen Bagley-Trotter, who was back in town last night after her 20-year career at Mo West. She's coming off of a regular season conference championship in the Summit League at St. Thomas in her home state of Minnesota, but she was there at the St. Joseph Area Sports Hall of Fame banquet. Yeah, so were you. Did you get a chance to meet Jen? And,
I did.
What was that conversation
I made
like?
sure to go up and introduce myself and just congratulate her for all that she's done. And her message to me was, "You've been recruiting your butt off, and I'll be watching." And I said, "I can't wait." So that was a really awesome moment to meet her and meet some of the history within the program, because it's very important to understand where the program was, where it's at, and where it's going.
Yeah, now what's worth noting, obviously, that Jen is one of 4 head coaches for this program just since 2021. We know we've had a few come and go here through the years, but with the comings and goings, we've had continuity with our roster. I think about players like Kaylee Higdon, who played for 2-3 different coaches, Sydney Rader, same thing, Ashlyn Finardi, who is going to be a senior this year. So, and I know there's a handful of others that have, at least a handful, a good chunk of players from 2026 that are still in the boat for the coming year. What you mentioned it there, but what have your conversations been like with the Griffs who are already here?
They're excited. A lot of asking questions, about who I am, what I'm about. I think bringing one of my players, Reese, was one of my first to kind of commit to come with me. So utilizing Reese has been really great for them. They've been hammering her with questions and just asking about who Coach B is and what she's about and all of those things. But it's been great getting to know them. It was while we were parking at Chiefs Camp, but that's the time to do it. They have to remember that we're more than just coaches, we're humans too, and so I really, really valued that time that I got with them, just so they could see me not on the field, but get to know me as a person first. So that's been really awesome.
And that's when I first met you, was doing parking at Chiefs training camp.
Almost didn't let you through.
That's not the first time that's happened for me. But you talked about some of your new players. I counted via the Griffin Softball Instagram page 5 commitments since your hiring. You mentioned 2 players so far following you from Colorado State Pueblo. No, there's a lot of legwork probably still to be done, but just thoughts on those commitments you have gotten thus far.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We just signed another from Pueblo, and Lydia Tibbles, so she came as well. Utility. A lot of the girls that also came along, one was a transfer that was going to follow me to Pueblo and then followed me here, and then a couple of the incoming freshmen that I had committed over there. So it was really awesome to see those girls be committed to me and to the vision that I have for any program that I go to. I'm going to coach at that high level and coach them all the same. I mean, that's what I want out of my programs. But just to see these girls be committed to me in this way, it means a lot because I'm very committed to them. And even the girls that are back at CSUP, I'm excited for them. I think they're going to do great things. We built a great program there, and so being able to see the success that they have, I'll be watching them. But having the girls here, it means a lot, and I feel like I can just hit the ground running right where we left off. And so just be able to make this the greatest thing that we can, one step at a time, right foot, left foot, breathe, and just go right after it.
Yeah, it's that continuity piece we talked about, 30-plus wins 5 years in a row. So even with the changes we've had here the last few years, that standard of success certainly has remained the same. So Pueblo, Colorado was your home for a few years, and it was Ruston, Louisiana before that. Where's original home for Bianca Duran?
I'm from Denver, Colorado,
right,
so
okay.
Westminster, Colorado. We just say
Nice.
Denver because
Yeah.
some people don't know where that is. But yeah, I grew up born and raised in Westminster. My journey was to Nebraska for 2 years. I went to a junior college out there, West Nebraska.
Yeah.
Then I transferred to Division I, Louisiana Tech. Yeah. Then I went to California for a year, coached at Stanislaus State, basically for the academic year. And then my coach called me at La Tech, and you're an alum from there, and you get the call, and it's like, hey, do you want to come back? You do not hesitate. You're like, yep, I'm packing my bags right now. So I was lucky enough to go back to my alma mater. Was there for 5 years, was the interim head coach my last year. We had actually experienced a tornado and lost our field. So it was definitely a transition year for that program, but I had put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that program, and so I wanted nothing more than to help them within that transition of building a new facility. And then after COVID and everything, it was time to get back home close to family. My brother had just had my niece, and so being able to be close with them, be by my grandma, that was great. So 2 hours away from home, can't beat that. It's better than 17, a lot shorter of a drive. But yeah, I was in Pueblo for 5 years, and then now I'm here.
Yeah, well, we're so happy to have you here, and I know your predecessor was a Loveland native, and she talks affectionately about Colorado. My sister's in Highlands Ranch, so I love
place.
Colorado. As a Nebraskan, it is a great state for sure. We are neighbors, after all. Well, Bianca, I'd love to talk to you more about it, but got a lot to get to in the next half hour. But welcome to Griff Nation, and good luck this coming year.
Thank you so much.
There you go, Bianca Duran, ladies and gentlemen, your newest head softball coach here at Mo West. Continuing from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill in St. Joseph, a packed Hi-Ho Bar and Grill at that, off and rolling on a Monday as 3 seasons get going this week and weekend, including volleyball, as I mentioned, going to sunny Daytona Beach, taking part in a great event there, the Bahama House Classic, hosted by, I believe, Embry-Riddle, which is based in Daytona Beach. That's one of the teams Mo West will play. They'll play St. Edwards of Texas, Embry-Riddle Friday, Florida Southern, and Florida Tech on Saturday. Here to talk about it, she is your defending MIAA Coach of the Year, your AVCA Central Region Coach of the Year, coach of the preseason ranked number 16 Griffins, Jessica Fye, and a senior outside hitter from Herman, Missouri. She's a 3-time All-Conference pick, an MIAA Scholar Athlete, and a 2-time CSC Academic All-District pick. Miss Holly Heldt, ladies, welcome. I worked a little hard on the introduction. I hope that was a good one, and rightfully so, because wow, what a rise for this program these last few years. And Coach, I think I start there, and I think at the stock of the program, it's just continued to go up as you enter your 5th year at the helm as our head coach. And what just came out about an hour ago is the preseason polls for the MIAA. Mo West picked 3rd, with I believe a couple of first-place votes as well. The other thing I think about, Coach, is seniors. You have one of them with you here today, 6 seniors. Boys, this is a special class with Holly Heldt, Haley Barsky, Taylor Russell, Anna Weberg, Skylar Walters, Emily Loy, names that have been synonymous with the success around here these last few years.
Yeah, no, definitely a big senior class, but, going into this year, your experience is invaluable. So just excited for them and the opportunity that they have ahead of them to kind of show their experience and everything they've worked for. They've played a lot of points, earned a lot of points, so I'm excited to watch them.
And then some newcomers that Mo West added this year, 3 freshmen, a couple of Division I transfers, one of them being Summer Anderson, defensive specialist and libero, coming out of McNeese State in Lake Charles, Louisiana on the Bayou, and then Tanith Roush, right side hitter, coming out of North Dakota State. Just briefly, thoughts on this class of 5 that you brought in?
Yeah, I think we'll see some contribution from a good handful of them. Tanith's had a really good preseason. She's a good force on the right side. She's a lefty, too, so she's a little bit different there. You don't see a lot of lefties all the time, so that's good. And then Summer's had a good preseason, too. And then our freshman setter had a good weekend last weekend. So we'll kind of see, when it gets to the big time where we're at and everything. But, yeah, we have some good additions.
We had some good competition at setter last year. We know that for sure. Yep. Holly, obviously you're one of the handful of returning starters coming back. Just thoughts on what has transpired for you this off season, and just how are you feeling entering your senior year right now?
Yeah, I think I'm excited. We have a lot of opportunities this year just because there's so much experience. So I'm excited to share potentially a last season with some of my classmates and underclassmen, because a lot of them are doing a great job of showing up and putting in the effort, and they've all just been doing great. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's an important note. Potentially last. We'll see what 5 for 5. That is an option now for athletes at all levels of college athletics. We talked about in the first segment changing our vernacular. Senior 4-year doesn't necessarily mean last year. It's an interesting time in college athletics we live in. But Holly, one thing I wanted to touch on: you and senior teammate Anna Weberg chosen this past summer for the USA Division II Volleyball Brazil Tour. It was a 10-day international tour in South America. It had a youth volleyball clinic as a part of that, playing against international competition. What was that like? Had you been to that part of the world before?
No, I've never been to Brazil or anything like that. So it was really cool. It was a really great experience. Met a lot of really high-level players. Got to play with a lot of high-level players. And just playing against that different competition was something I've never experienced. Maybe playing like an Emporia or somebody, I guess, or Missouri Southern would be the closest thing to it. But just playing those girls, and they were all so nice, too. It was weird. It was like I wasn't expecting them to be so nice, but the experience was really cool. It was well organized, and so it was a lot of fun.
I think if I remember right, it was players from 7 different Division II programs across the country. Yeah, so what a cool honor to be a part of that. And I want to go back to what you said, Holly, there. Potentially last year, as a student athlete, as a senior, with all this craziness that goes on in 5 for 5. You said you're majoring in business marketing right now, is that right? So obviously the traditional path for a student athlete it's changing in real time. So as you approach what's traditionally a last year for a lot of people, I mean, how do you kind of take this all into account and decide what you do at the end of all things?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that I'm going to think about, but I also am just trying to go through season as if it were my last one, and then by the end of season, just trying to come to the decision of do I want to come back or if I don't. So just getting through the season, trying not to think about it as much, and then making the decision at the end. So.
Yeah. And piggybacking off of that, Coach, I mean, how has that kind of changed recruiting conversations? Just knowing that a fifth year is not only no longer maybe an exception, it's becoming an expectation now for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can't really make too many adjustments with it because you don't know where people's heads are at. You kind of have to wait and see how it plays out. So we're kind of business as usual, and we'll just figure it out, eventually. A lot of the times your retention's not 100%, so a lot of things end up balancing out. So we still want to bring in really strong freshman classes moving forward, and then if people take their fifth year, then we'll kind of leave some wiggle room for that. But, yeah, we're just trying to – I think everyone's probably trying to figure it out, and no one knows how to move forward 100%, so we're just still trying to be good.
Day by day, step by step, and try to win. Try to win matches and be on top at the end of the year. The goals stay the same through all of the changes. Well, travel itinerary for Griffin volleyball this weekend, the Bahama House Classic at Daytona Beach. They'll be down there playing. These are Central Time starts, by the way. So Mo West will play St. Edwards of Texas Friday at 10:30 in the morning. Host school Embry-Riddle Friday at 6 o'clock. I remember Embry-Riddle. We played them in men's basketball Civic Arena a few years ago, so I've at least heard of them before. Saturday morning at 10:30. Mo West will take on Florida Southern. Saturday afternoon at 3:30, Florida Tech. So pretty normal in the sense of that's a ton of matches, a ton of sets in a fairly short amount of time. That's become commonplace in the non-conference scheduling for us, and not our usual fare, but a chance to play somebody else, games that count toward the record. And you scrimmaged. I meant to ask you about that. You scrimmaged some people in Warrensburg over the weekend. So given how that went and given these teams, just what are your expectations going forward?
Yeah, I think this last weekend was really good for us. We got to play a very good UMSL team. We got to play Rockhurst, Pitt William Jules, so we got to kind of see maybe what our composed lineup would be of and try to get a little bit more rhythm with that. And so this second weekend, whenever we scrimmage, I just try to keep it what I think I'm going to play this weekend and maybe make a couple switches if that's on my mind. But they did well this weekend. We'll have a couple things that we focus a little bit more on this week in practice. But going into the first weekend of play, like our first couple games we're going in blind. We can watch some film from last year, but we're St. Ed's first game and we're Embry-Riddle's first game. So we're not going to get to watch Embry-Riddle play live because they're not playing a game ahead of us. So we'll have to do a really good job of in-match, just making adjustments. Luckily, that's where our experience, doesn't stress me out too much. It's not like we're a bunch of freshmen out there. We should be able to make some good in-game adjustments with the amount of points that these ladies have played before. The first day is just going to be trying to figure out the pieces they're going to play, figure out their lineup. But we always want to focus a little bit more on our side the first time that we step out on the court, just controlling the basics, the serve, the pass, and then we'll make some adjustments when we need to is how we'll kind of approach the first day.
And something kind of new this year that we hadn't been accustomed to, we have a mess of home matches. You guys are hosting, 2 or 3 invitational events.
Yeah.
We'll have matches at our place between programs that aren't us, and we're going to host a lot of teams, non-conference and conference. It all kind of ramps up in early September. I mean, that's got to be nice, right? Just to be able to stay at home and play in Looney a little more than we have.
Yeah, definitely. I think for seniors, too, it's a great opportunity to play at home more, but we just kind of got sick of traveling the first 5-6 weeks of season and not having a home game till October. So we were able to host those 2 tournaments and get enough teams to fill them, and so that's going to provide some ease with missing classes and more balance, and then just less travel will be really nice.
Absolutely. And Holly, just kind of ending with you, we talk about these 6 seniors, many of whom have been here their whole 4 years up to this point, yourself included, and obviously that has paid off. I mean, like I said, the things that this program's done, winning the conference regular season title last year, back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. I guess 2-part question. How much does continuity help, especially in this day and age? And the fact that we have been able to carry over our roster year in, year out, what does that say about just the culture and the standard that's been set here?
Yeah, I think every year since I've been here, we've gotten a little bit better. So I think that comes with the experience every year. And we have our goals that we have set at the beginning of the year. And I think, every year we've gotten better. So I think that this year we can finally push a little bit extra and get a little bit farther and reach some of those goals that we have, and I think that the experience plays a big role in that too. So
Absolutely. And talking of when you'll get to see the Griffins at home, we don't have to wait long at all. A week from Thursday, Mo West hosts their first of these home events, the Fairfield Inn Griffin Volleyball Classic. So the home opener comes up Thursday night, September 3rd, against Southwest Minnesota State. Mo West will also host the Holiday Inn Express Griffin Volleyball Invitational, September 11th and the 12th. And then the MIAA in-season tournament, October 15th through the 17th. Washburn, Hayes, and Washburn and Hayes, a part of that event coming up in October. So a whole bunch of chances to come see Mo West volleyball. I mean, I'm looking at this thing. That's a 10-match homestand starting September 3rd. So you'll have plenty of chances to root on volleyball, and they're a pretty fun and easy team to root for, as this team has done massive things the last few years. And these two ladies have been a big part of it. Outside hitter from Herman, Missouri, Holly Heldt, and fifth-year head coach Jessica Fye. Ladies, thanks so much. Congrats on all of your achievements, and good luck this year.
Thank you.
And good luck in Florida, Daytona Beach. That's where they'll be this Friday and Saturday. We continue from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill on the GSI Podcast. I'm Tommy Rezach as we talk Griffins soccer now with fourth-year head coach Jacob Plocher, MIAA Coach of the Year a couple years ago, of course, and a senior forward/middle from Eldridge, Iowa. She now a three-time All-MIAA pick, including a first-team honoree last year, a D2 CCA first-team All-Central Region pick, an All-MIAA tournament team pick, a team that is your defending MIAA tournament champions from Griffin Soccer. Miss Kendall Knisley joining us up here as Kendall right now, to add to her impressive resume, sitting right now as the year starts, second in program history in points, second in goals, and tied for most assists in program history. Jacob and Kendall, welcome to you both. Well, Coach, I tried to give you as good an intro as I did volleyball because you guys were just both so fun to watch last year, and I know we have high hopes for this year, but I mean, yeah, you think about it. Defending conference tournament champs. We've been unbeaten in our last 21 home matches, and some new faces this year. I think that's where it starts. 14 freshmen, 4 transfers, but with Kendall, 10 returners in all, 2 new assistant coaches. So continuity, momentum, but a lot of new people now to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's really exciting. Obviously there can be also that kind of maybe uneasiness of what to expect just because there was so much new, but going through preseason and being able to kind of see it all come together, really excited about the direction that the program's headed. I think we have a really talented group, far from a finished product. We still have to work on a few things, but I think there's definitely a lot of potential and opportunity for this program and for this year's team to be very successful. And
just staying with you for just a second, I mean, we knew last year we had a big senior class, an elite senior class that did so many good things here. So when the season ended in the NCAA tournament last year, once you got out on the road recruiting, what was this process like for you just to fill some gaps and some needs?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we would have loved to maybe have a little bit more of a balance in regards to maybe some transfers, sure, or to balance out that freshman group. But to be fair, every time, there was a freshman that we were looking at or interested in, and then they wanted to commit, like, we didn't want to turn away good players just because they were freshmen. So, being able to add them and know that we can kind of mold them a bit more over the course of their career was exciting. And, I think, Kendall can attest to, this freshman group, their characters, their personalities are on full display. And I think that's really helped kind of, the process of them getting to kind of know each other and kind of form that bond early.
Kendall, I'll have you scoot that mic just a little bit closer if you could. Thank you so much. But the journey these last few years, all conference every year, you've been here for the advent of the Plocher era, and you've been a big part of everything that's gone along with that. Just in a few words, just how do you kind of summarize just your experience as a Griffin and with this soccer program?
Honestly, it's just been a great experience.
A little bit closer, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Bend it like inward. There you go.
Oh,
Perfect.
okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've been so blessed to have people surrounded by like, these coaches and like the senior class last year that have helped me go through all these years, especially with my class kind of leaving and me being the only one standing in my class when I got recruited. So just having like these girls around me, just supporting me and always being there for me, it's been a really good experience.
And to have so many young people on this team, 14 freshmen, 4 transfers to go with that, but now that you are a senior and so many underclassmen, how do you kind of embrace the opportunity to be kind of a player leader on this roster?
I just think confidence is going to be the most important thing with these girls, just like making sure that like it's okay to make a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. That's how we learn and get better every single day, and just understanding like we have to be there for them as captains. And I think we've been doing a really good job of that, especially during the summer when we were just trying to get them actively talking to us. And I think coming in, like, we automatically just clicked like that because we have so many different personalities on this team, and I love every single one of them. Like, they're a really good group of girls.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. And you have a new staff, some new assistants surrounding this team this year. Bailey Brennan and Joshua Pooler, I believe they're here today. There's a lot of folks. I've seen some faces, some I haven't. And then Kari Little is back on the team as a manager, former Griffin player. Just briefly on the staff and just your thoughts on this assemblage here.
Yeah, I think it can always be tough when there's turnover, but I think everything that happened was for better opportunities for some of the former staff members, but then for us to be able to get the staff that we do have in place, we gel really well. Obviously they know and understand what our goal is and what kind of the standard is for the program. So for them to come in and kind of hit the ground running and really take the lead in a lot of different things, I think that's helped even just that transition of the team getting to know who they are and how they operate. I think that's just going to help us moving forward as well.
Well, unlike volleyball, soccer is headed north to South Dakota and Minnesota. They'll play Bemidji State on the road Friday at 7, Northern State on Sunday at 11:30. We have opened with these teams. We've done home and home with them, and to be fair, we've had pretty good results against the Wolves and the Beavers. Again, they'll play Bemidji Friday at 7, Northern State Sunday at 11:30. So familiar with each other enough, but our roster's a pretty good example of college athletics. You just don't know how much a roster is going to turn over from year to year. 18 newcomers on our side alone. So I assume, this opening weekend, everyone's going in a little cold. But
Sure.
That said, just how do you prepare for this one?
Yeah, I think it's just been, again, that mentality from the get-go. We've been telling our girls and our staff it's not a rebuild, it's a reload, And so a lot of our scrimmages so far, we've been able to get a lot of minutes for some of our younger and newer players just to kind of understand what it is to play at this level, whether it's the physicality, whether it's the speed of play, and then even just the style of how we want to go about things, and we've thrown in some different wrinkles of looking at some different formations and, different pairings, but, even for one of our first scrimmages, I think for a good chunk of it, we had probably 8 or 9 of our 11 were freshmen on the field, to kind of, again, get that experience and try to give them a little crash course of what it's going to take. But yeah, it's a talented group. We have a lot of things we can throw out there and a lot of different, just settings that we can give to them, and they attack it. They're very coachable. They're willing to do whatever it takes, and some of it is kind of nice because they don't know what they don't know, so they're out there. They're working hard. They know obviously a little bit of what we've done the last couple of years, and so they're just doing their best to kind of keep that expectation and that standard high.
Well, you got some Northern Sun flavor over the weekend. You scrimmaged Augustana amongst a few other schools that you went up against this past fall, so past summer, I guess it was. So some live experience there. Kendall, I'll give you the final word. I mean, you've had a heck of a career. It's been a heck of a couple of years. What do you hope is in store here in your senior season?
Honestly, just living my best life at my senior year, just being happy, and obviously getting another ring would be great, and then going further in the NCAA tournament and just helping these freshmen grow as players and help them build the program. And just leave off with a good legacy.
And try to keep her around for the 5th year.
Yeah, that's right. That's a topic. Again, we got to change our mindset, change our vernacular. 5 for 5. It is officially here in NCAA Division II. So we'd all be thrilled to see a 5th year under Kendall Knisley as Griffin soccer in action Friday and Sunday. Bemidji State, Northern State on the road, and then they're home in short order Wednesday, September 2nd against the Wayne State Wildcats. That'll kick off their home schedule. That'll actually kick off a 5-match homestand for the Griffins in September. So get out to Spratt to see this team perform. Your defending MIAA tournament champions, Griffin Soccer. That's head coach Jake Plocher and all-conference forward and middle, Kendall Knisley. Thanks so much, guys. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
There you go. Kendall Knisley, Jake Plocher. All right. First one up at the table. He's a junior now, defensive end from Hackett, Arkansas. Graduate at Greenwood High School, Mr. Evan Williams. Played tight end for us last year. And a junior running back from the Show Me State. Coming out of Battle High School in Columbia, Mr. Rickie Dunn. He's on the far right. And off to my left, fourth-year head coach Tyler Fenwick. Gentlemen, thank you for your patience. Welcome to you all, and I know we're all excited to be here. Home opener on a Thursday night, 20th ranked Augustana. New season, new team, a ton of new guys. 55 by last count, 55 new players on this roster. Tyler, I'll just start with you. Just camp, that's been going on, 3+ weeks at this point. Just how do you characterize the work that this team's put in here recently?
Yeah, I think the work has been good. I think it's been, having so many new faces, you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out what makes each kid tick. You're just, every day, what motivates guys? How do they learn? How do they react to stuff? How much are they retaining? And you're just constantly teaching, and that's been fun. Honestly, that's been from a coach's standpoint, that's been a lot of fun to kind of see that. And then you're just trying to mold these guys into and figure out who's, what your depth chart is going to look like. And because we have so many new faces, there's been a lot of competition and a lot of battles going on, which means that we've got some depth that we didn't have. I thought we had a very healthy camp, which was critical for us, and so at this point right now, it's kind of, it's more about, the mental part of it. We've been through the tackling, we've been through the physical part of it, and now it's kind of mental and get ourselves so that we're, prepared and playing confident and, so they can go, use their ability and do what they do.
Two position groups that had a lot of competition, a lot of bodies this year. Defensive backs, where there's 25 of them on the roster, 21 offensive linemen. But we have a running back up here, Rickie, and those guys have really impressed. I'm proud to say I've been to about 5 or 6 practices, including the scrimmages, and Rickie Dunn, Jalen Dixon, Sheldon King, Xavier Arumbala, Sincere Thompson. Boy, Rickie, I know we lost 3 backs last year, including the great Brandon Hall, but my goodness, has this group really stepped up this fall, it seems?
No, most definitely.
I'm sorry, Rickie. Scoot that mic a little bit down.
Right here?
Yeah, right there. Perfect.
Right, but yeah, honestly, I felt like with the RB room, man, we really pride ourselves to make sure that it's team no drop off. No matter who's even is on the field, we're gonna make an impact either in the run game, pass pro, or catching the ball at the backfield.
And, of course, Evan Williams on the defensive side. He started here as a linebacker, played some tight end for us, scored a touchdown against Pittsburgh State, if you remember, on a little trick play, on a run play. And now, Evan, you've had a good relationship with our D-line coach, Michael Gallo. You're now a defensive end, and lots of new guys all over the defense, as we know. But I think about that defensive front, and Andon Carpenter, second-year Griffin. Deontay Young moving from nose to defensive end. Deontay, an all-conference pick for us last year. Zone Warenga, he's a guy that mixed in last year, coming in from San Diego State. So many talented guys, too, on the back end. That secondary, they're new, but they're athletic, they're impressive. Just thoughts on that defensive side overall?
I think we're ready to play. This whole camp, we've really pushed this back end towards Augustana, looking at what they're going to bring. They got an experienced quarterback coming in, but we're thinking, look at them like a faceless opponent, we're not worried about their rank or who they are, what they're doing coming in. Just come in, be more physical up front, own the line of scrimmage, no big plays up on the back end. Our one-on-ones are just as important up front. Nobody sees those like they see the D-backs deep. Just ready to get after them.
By the way, I love that hat with the gold brim and the Griffs, the shape of Missouri. I might ask you where you got that. That thing is awesome. One other position group, Coach. I'm not going to, I know better than to dig super deep on this, but I'll just leave it at this. There are 6 quarterbacks, 2 redshirt freshmen, 2 true freshmen, 2 transfers. I think a lot of us like to think we have an idea who it's going to be, but what are you willing to share about who QB1 might be?
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback position is obviously we've kind of made a wholesale change as far as, bringing in a couple transfers. I think, the young guys that we had as redshirt freshmen have really developed, which is kind of the part of the process as far as quarterback goes. But, Isaiah and Skylar have come in, and either one of those guys have shown that they can be a starter. Both of those guys, they're smart, they're good people. They treat people right. They have conversations with defensive players as much as offensive players. They're team guys, and when you have that and you have good leadership at that, and they're about the business of making sure, okay, if there's a mistake, how do we fix it? They go have conversations with the receiver, with whoever it is, and make sure we all get on the same page. And they can all throw it. Both of them are athletic, so I would imagine they'll both play this week.
Yeah, those 2 transfer being Skylar Castle, who spent 3 years at Utah Tech. These 2 guys come from football families. Skylar's brother is a coach at the Division I level, and then Isaiah Tate, he's one of 3 brothers. Isaiah's brother, Israel, a running back at Alabama State, and then Isaiah's other brother, TJ Tate, well, he transferred from Pitt State to right here at Mo West. So just a handful of great stories on this team right now. But shifting back to our 2 athletes, we talk about so much new, but Evan Williams, Rickie Dunn, 2 of a handful who have come back. 14 starters, I believe it is, that are back, and 2 of these guys have had some of that experience in their career. But Rickie, I'll start with you, and then Evan, if you want to add on. We talk about, I was watching the preview video that our own Jason Holland put out yesterday, and guys like Connor Heldt, right, who's become a leader, he said that, last year is hard, but that's just it. It's all last year. As painful as it was and as hard as the ending was and everything, it's all in the past. There's 55 new players, a lot of desire, pressure perhaps, but desire to get better. Just the fact that there are so many new people not affiliated with last year, and the fact that everyone's on the same page of everything has to be better. How has that affected the mindset going into this camp? I mean, everyone wants to talk about a year that was so hard, but at the same time, I think it's provided a nice opportunity to turn a new leaf this year. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rick.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, like whenever you add in new players, it's going to turn into a brand new team. And with a brand new team, it's going to be brand new energy. So we've really been priding ourselves to make sure that we, encourage each other, making sure that we're picking up our brothers no matter what they do, so.
And Evan, bouncing back on a comment made earlier, our athletic director, Andy Carter, was up here, and he talked about, energy and guys picking each other up and work ethic. And I've certainly noticed the same watching you guys play. Just what have you noticed about just attitude and people just keeping each other up and mingling, right? It can be hard to get to know so many new guys so quickly, especially when you consider a lot of them come in after the spring as well. Just what has that camaraderie been like on the practice field?
I think it's a lot deeper than, like just football.
Yeah.
You can't just hang out on the practice field or hang out in the locker room or the weight room. Like, you got to get to know each other off the field.
Right.
Know, what they like to do in their free time and try to match up. And I think we do really well at incorporating everybody, like hanging out together outside of football, just getting, on a deeper level than rather just on the playing field.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get on the playing field officially now this Thursday as 20th-ranked Augustana from the Northern Sun Conference comes in. It's a rematch, and it's the first time ever that Augie will play a football game in St. Joseph. They're solid. I mean, that's just the thing that comes to mind. They're physical. They win. They're used to getting in the postseason. They have a quarterback coming back, and Gunnar Hensley. Yeah, he had a good game against us last year. We remember he's coming off an injury. He played 5 games for Augie last year. He's definitely the headliner, their preseason player to watch. But 3 of their top 5 tacklers on defense back. Playmakers all over the place on that side. Good running back, good core of receivers, an experienced head coach. Like Tyler Fenwick here is in his 14th year as a D2 head coach. Coach Olszewski, Jerry Olszewski at Augie, he's in his 14th year with the Vikings. He's certainly had some good years, and no doubt, Tyler, that when you have a coach and a culture there that long, there's going to be some similarities, but what are maybe some key differences about Augie this year as opposed to last? Oh, sorry, you muted there. Go ahead.
So you keep muting me, don't you?
Yeah, it's
you do that on purpose, don't you?
Trying to limit the feedback on the mics,
but I mean, there's going to be a lot of similarities. I mean, they run their program the way that they've ran their program for years. I mean, he's done a great job they're going to be big. They're going to be physical. The quarterback's obviously returning, I think, coming off of an injury last year. But they're going to look the same. A lot of their schemes we're expecting to be the same. So it's going to be, kind of a shootout like it was last year, I think, and it's going to be a physical football game. I think there's going to be it's going to be a chess match between what they do and what we do, and the counters to it and all that stuff. So it should be a lot of fun, honestly. I mean, I'm looking forward to this game, just from a competitive standpoint. It was a close one last year. We let it get away from us, and so we need to figure out how we can put all the pieces together and make sure everybody's gelled together and playing together. Within our schemes and with what they know how to do. And I think our kids are prepared right now. I think they've been tuned in. They understand the game plan. They understand what we're going to see. And at that point on Thursday, we're going to let them loose.
And we haven't had a game at home to open our season since your first year in 2023. So that's kind of a nice thing. It's a painted black night. So wear black and be loud. And I'll give the final word to our athletes again, starting outside, working in. Rickie and Evan, you both were a part of that game. Rickie, your first career touchdown was against Augustana last year. And I think Coach summed it up well. A great game, a great chess match, but a heartbreaker nonetheless. When you think back on that game and that experience, how does that impact your mindset going into it this year?
I mean, honestly, we were just right there. Like, we was on the edge to make sure that we could finish that game, but we didn't. But with this season, we're going to make sure we finish.
Evan, any final thoughts from you?
It was a tight game all the way down to the wire. Had them. If you look back at it, we had a missed field goal and a missed extra point.
Safety as well. Yeah.
And we ended up losing the game by 4 points.
Yeah.
And so the small mistakes like that end up getting you beat. And we've been perfecting that all spring to get those out of the picture. So I think come Thursday it's going to be it'll be a fun game.
Yeah, I think in a league with as much parity as this one has, I think it's those small things that's going to dictate it, because I look at this league right now, 2 teams in the top 10, 4 MIAA schools receiving votes, and our non-conference opener, one of the best teams really in the Northern Sun the last few years, 20th ranked Augustana. So it's a good schedule. It's an appealing schedule. We go to Missouri S&T. We go to Central Missouri next Thursday. I mean, my goodness, this thing ramps up quick. So it's a lot of great games, going to be a lot of close games that come down to what Evan just talked about, those little things, details. And I echo what Andy said earlier. I think you look at it on paper and watching it on film that I think this team is a little bit older, 47 upperclassmen, 55 new guys, 25 transfers. I think this team got deeper and stronger in the offseason, and I speak for this whole room when I say we're excited to watch them take the field. Our pregame coverage on the Griffin Sports Network at 6:30, kickoff at 7, the Varsity Network app, gogriffins.com/listen, and the MIAA Network. Jonas Bennett rejoins me in the booth with Tucker Holden. There he is. Tucker Holden will be on the sideline giving us reports and interviewing this guy at halftime and other things as well. So looking forward to kicking off this journey. Year number 57 of Griffin football, the 4th of it under Tyler Fenwick, with running back Rickie Dunn, defensive end Evan Williams. Again, guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for your patience, and good luck this year.
Thanks, Tommy.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate your time. There you go. That's Griffin to round out the GSI podcast here on this Monday afternoon. It'll be Thursday night when we kick it off. 7 o'clock, pregame at 6:30, and the kickoff at 7. Watch it, listen to it, attend it, and be loud and support your Griffins. We'll have full coverage, of course, of the game on gogriffins.com and all of our Griffin Athletics social media pages.